Okay, so 100 grams of sourdough starter straight from the fridge, not been fed for nearly a week. So let's do that. 98. 100 grams. 275 strong wholemeal. 275, and then 175 of strong white. $172, so 170, there you go. 175, there we go. Now we need 8 grams of salt. 6, 7, 8, there we go. And now 325 grams of water, room temperature. So this is about 28 degrees. So 325 of this. Stick a little bit more flour in just to make up for the deficiency. Boom. Right, and just stir it together. Now I'll leave that covered for an hour. Stick his little hat on. Okay, about 40 minutes later in the end because it's quite warm. So all I'm going to do, give it a stretch and folds. First one's held quite a few. There we go, so. Yeah, it's already feeling quite gummy. So give it another 45 minutes. Okay, 3/4 of an hour down. It's just puffed up slightly. Wet hands. There we go. That's probably enough. Okay, last one before shaping. It's got a little bit bigger, I think. Yeah, it feels area. And it's got that sourdough pong. There we go. I'll let that rest for another 45 minutes or something, and then come and turn it out onto the board. Okay, time to turn it out and prepare for the first shaping. So it's a bit expanded, more wobbly. So I should put a little bit of flour on. I've learned to not put too much flour on because it can go a bit too floury on the bottom and look a bit gross. So, because what you don't want is to have bits of flour inside the loaf, which looks stupid and it's just flour. So spread it out like this. Now I'll quickly persuade it into a ball, trying to get it a little bit tight on the top because it's the tension that helps it rise when it's in the oven. So I'm going to shape it into a rough ball and then leave it for an hour to rise a little more. for shaping it further and putting it in the banneton to improve overnight in the fridge. Yeah. So other people will no doubt do that better than me, but that's all I would do at this point. And I'll just stick a CC all over it for an hour. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes now, so it's relaxed a little bit on there, expanded a little bit more. So this is the banneton basket, which I'll stick a little bit of flour in. This is where it's going to sit in overnight, so it can rise in the fridge. It's chilled a bit now. So you need to sort of try and shape this into a bit more of a tight topped ball. Like I say, there's loads of much better ways of shaping than I do, but I'm a lazy and talentless man, so this is how I do it. Yeah, what you're aiming for is a tight skin on the top, which I'm not particularly good at doing, but it's not ended up mattering too much, so let's say that's done, right? So now I'm just going to turf it in there. The bottom will be messier, so the bottom goes on the top. Here we go. There you go. So that will rise overnight in the fridge, and these little imperfections will sort themselves out. Yeah, if you put too much flour on, you end up with loads of flouriness at the bottom there, and you'll get like a curl of flour in the bottom. So yeah, I will just stick this on here and then pop it in the fridge overnight. Here we go. Next morning, so I can see it's risen beautifully in the fridge. Just doing a little dimple where there was a dimple before, but that doesn't matter. And the top is quite firm, but yeah, not too firm, which gives me confidence that when I turn it out of this, I'll be able to slash the top nicely. So I'm going to put this back in the fridge and put the oven on with this big old Dutch oven in. So I'll stick the oven on at 240 for about 40 minutes to get this ripping hot, and then I'll come back. Okay, oven's up to temperature now, so I need to turn this out and score it. So you do it on a piece of baking paper, but if you screw up the baking paper, it stops it folding when you put it into the Dutch oven, which can create creases in the loaf. So I get a big bit of this and noisily screw it up. Turn it into more of a nest for it. Put it on there. Now this might stick slightly to it as I pull it away, but it's got this cloth lining, so it should come away fine. There we go. So it's a lot firmer than it would have been because it's in the fridge, so the scoring should go fine. So I'm going to do a big score across there, and then some little ones there that won't be even because I'm an idiot, but they look quite nice. So here we go. So that will open up, see, and let's go for some here. So there you go, I'll do. So they should make it a bit further down there for symmetry's sake, but you know, who cares. So now I'm going to get the incredibly hot Dutch oven out and a bit of ice. Bit of ice. Incredibly hot Dutch oven. So I'll take the lid off. I'm going to lower the bread in. There you go. So there's no folds that will make a horrible shape in here. Now I'll put some ice in. It's fizzing away. I'll stick the lid on. Now this will go back in the oven. Oh, look at that. That's puffed up nicely. As you can see, it's still pretty pale, so we'll put it back in the oven for 10 minutes at least. Okay, it's been in the oven for another 10 minutes with the lid off, so let's have a look. There we go. So it's got some browning on the top. Looks a little crisp around the edge. If anything, I'd say could do with a little more time. So I think I'll put it in for another, let's say, 3 minutes. There we go. Colour's deepened a bit. There we go. Hollow sound. I'd say that. Hot. That looks lovely. So you can see how it could maybe have some more colour on the sides there, but that's perfectly done, and I don't want to take it too far on the top. I think some people would give it more on the top. I'd say that's fine. It's got a nice ear. That's this thing here, the crispy line thing, and you can see how the score has helped it open up and rise. It's got, for a wholemeal loaf, that's a nice rise. So now I'll stick my funny umbrella on it. And I'll leave that to cool for, I don't know, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours before I take a first slice, but after about 4 it'll be perfect. If you cut it too soon it might be a bit gummy on the inside, but yeah, I think I've got the ratios pretty good on these ones now, so I'm sure a slice will be fine in an hour or so. Okay, so it's been just over an hour. It's cooled down nicely. Now, I probably should have left it in a little longer because I think this could do with a little more colour on it. But yeah, it's certainly not uncooked. But yeah, like if this was slightly browner and that was slightly browner, it would be a better loaf. But let's cut into it and see what it's like. I'll go for this bit. That's got a bit of a wrinkle on it, so I'll cut that bit off first. And there we go. Sort of just how I want it, really. There we go, delicious, and it will toast really well as well. So, there we go.